kind did you get?
We got the same one.
They're the same. Everything in the container is the same.
I didn't know if it was a different
You
flavor
do it
for the
yourself.
spray or not. The only one I tried before was the sour apple
Do it.
spray.
Oh yeah, that's
Do
good.
Yeah. Hey, Morgana, once upon a time. Remember
Five?
inside the Chocolate Bunnies, it's the little story that Peter Rabbit.
5?
Oh, he's holding a carrot.
Gene, did you want to yours? Did you want to?
I
Everyone
survived
else is
5
over
squirts.
against
Daddy, the reason why I gave my baby you the I have a tiny blue dotted one was
Hey.
enough.
I read you a story.
Easter
Shut up in your
Madness.
face.
Easter Madness.
Now that's how you go to story time with the kids. I read you a story now. You'll shut up in your face. This is the story of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. What you reading?
Peter Cottontail.
They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. Now, my dears, said old
Is it
Mrs.
a
Rabbit
big
one
cake?
morning, you may go out into the fields or down the lane,
Out of the way.
but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there, and he was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out. And old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket with her umbrella and went through the woods to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little buddies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate, where his dad died. First he ate some lettuce, and then some French beans, and then he ate some radishes, and then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of the cumbersome frame, who should meet him but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting young cabbages. But he jumped up and he ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was almost dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went even faster. So they may have gotten away altogether if he had not unfortunately ran into the gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears. But his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrow birds, who flew to him with a great excitement and asked him to exert himself.
Taking the peach ones out.
Mr. McGregor came up with a seed, which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter. But Peter wiggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind, and rushed into the tool shed, jumped into a water can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in it. See? He fell in
I keep
the
getting
water
weird
can.
jelly mixed. I think he
Well,
can
you're
get
perfect
out.
for it.
It's all bunny.
Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed. Shoo! Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, and he tried to put his foot on Peter. Jumped out of the window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor. He was tired of running after Peter, and he went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very wet from sitting in that can. After a time, he began to wander about, going limpidly, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in the wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him, and Peter began to cry. See, there's him crying something to the mouse. He's getting really scared
Why?
because he don't know the way to get out to get home. He's scared the gardener's going to put him in a pie like they did to his dad.
And that.
Then Peter tried to find a way straight across the garden, but he became more puzzled. Right now, he came to the pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of a hoe.
He was trading you.
Screech, scratch, scratch, screech. Peter shuddered underneath the bushes. But presently, nothing happened. He came out and he climbed up on the wheelbarrow. What'd you lose?
This is Star Wars.
You lost your carrot. Here's the Whopper, so you lost.
Ready?
You
Trade.
lost the Star Wars bird.
Wait, what color is yours?
More down.
Blue, silver.
We're looking for the white one.